gave me a call and said there was going to be an event and an invitation to speak, which encompassed spas, wellness, innovation, and the imagination. I didn't really need too much encouragement because I have kind of a missionary zeal to be where communities like this are at an inflection point and where innovation will matter to them. As Philippe's introduction might have given you a sense of, I've been working in the innovation field for about 30 years in a lot of different ways, and in that kind of time frame you accumulate a lot of nicknames, most of which I'm happy to say I can repeat in polite company. The Economist one was pretty darn good, I have to say. I mean, it substituted for a whole, hiring branding consultants or whatever. But the one that I cherish the most actually came from a very counterintuitive community, which was the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier community, which has a lot of innovation issues and opportunities, where after about a year of working with them, they said, well, we thought you were quite different from us, but now we get what your value proposition is, and we've decided to give you a call sign, which in that community is an honorific. And anyway, the call sign is the Innovation Sherpa. I kind of like that because my mission in life, or one of the central themes, is trying to help people find the high ground. Innovation is one of the most overused and I would argue least understood words in the lexicon. It's oversold. It's always in danger of being misidentified as simply a synonym for good. You remember the 80s, right? With entrepreneurship being in vogue. And hey, nobody wanted to be lobbying to become a bureaucrat, right? So entrepreneurship was kind of a synonym for all the cool stuff. And innovation, in a way, is in jeopardy of the same kind of fate. And innovation is also a very complex field where to oversimplify it is really to wind up with very little. We have a colleague from Google here. A couple of months ago, I Googled the word innovation just to see what would happen. And over the last 12 months, how many hits for the word innovation would you think came back from the search findings? 12 months, the word innovation. Any guesses? 300 million. Okay. So the answer at that time was 2.65 billion. Which is, the good news and the bad news. The good news is people think it's important. The bad news is it's used so often as a term that it is in jeopardy of fading into insignificance. And yet, we need innovation. At the global civil society level, we are, as one pundit put it, problem-rich and solutions-poor. And never, I think, despite all of the innovation in innovation itself, never has the capability to address our needs been so dwarfed by the size of the needs themselves, right? And then we look at you guys, okay? So here you are kind of, I almost think that this is a dramatic story along the lines of what Thomas Kuhn wrote about in The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, where, just to encapsulate it, okay, old paradigm, new thinking not appreciated by the mainstream. Mr. Galileo, we're going to burn you at the stake if you persist in this, kind of earth around the sun nonsense. Disconfirming evidence piles up, and then at a certain point there's a tipping, right? Way before Malcolm Gladwell, Thomas Kuhn talked about tipping. And then there's a new paradigm. I think this community is working towards a new paradigm. And part of the symptomatology of working up to a new paradigm is that the words don't work that well anymore. So wellness, health, well-being, spa, all of these things require explanation. And in fact, you could argue that one of the core tasks of this community is not just to figure out what these words mean, but in a sense actually to relanguage what you're offering around a new kind of conceptual framework. Because, I see the healthcare field or the sickness field and the health and, the spa and wellness community, and, there's a kind of a very Grecian drama that is playing itself out here. That's part of paradigm shifts, is that things are up for grabs. So innovation, I think, is more relevant to this community than ever before, and I'm going to be very interested to see how it all plays out.